lets it off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the pit complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Two years ago, a journey started for a small handful of sim racers who wanted to give online broadcasting a try. Hundreds of races later, the Global Sim Racing Channel is now ready to celebrate its second birthday. And what better way to do that than to gather the best drivers to have put digital rubber to road on our screens and pit them against one another. You're watching the second annual GSRC All-Star Invitational, brought to you live, of course, on the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm your host, Joe Peak. With me in the booth today is Richard Losper. Our cameras have been provided by Dougie Beard and are directed by Kevin Brown. Richard, it's been a pleasure sharing the mic with you for the past 2 years. Why don't you kick us off with a little bit of info about today's doubleheader?
Thank you, Joe. And yes, what a journey it has been. From the very first ill-informed discussions that we had on TeamSpeak, to throwing around ideas, to testing, and then to our first broadcast 2 years ago. It's been an absolute pleasure, my friend, being involved with GSRC, and I'm here to say we will not be going away anytime soon. So let's get on with the race information. Well, we have 2 sprint races. This first one right here is at Okayama, and it'll be a 30-minute race. And then we'll go over to Indianapolis on the oval for 30 laps. Here we are running the street stock, which is a car normally used to turning left only. And at Indy, we'll be running the Cadillac CTS-V. The points from both rounds will be combined and we will find ourselves a champion. Okayama, well, who doesn't know Okayama? It's one of the free content that is obtained when you subscribe to iRacing. It's 2.314 miles or 3.724 kilometers, 11 turns, which is going to be tough for these cars. And of course, it is a 30-minute race. We'll talk a bit more about the Indy race a bit later on. But Joe, I believe we actually do have a lap guide for this track. Is that right?
That's correct, and I believe our director is ready to bring that up. All right, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC Street Stock, so let's do a lap around Okayama. Turn 1 is going to be a great passing zone with a wide track and plenty of braking. The circuit is notorious for having low grip though, so some drivers may overcook it. From there, we switch right for Turn 2, which will require some patience and throttle control. This anti-camber corner feels like it goes for a long time, and if you're struggling to put the power down, you could wind up with the tricky situation of trying to go too wide through the fast Moss S. That dumps you immediately into Atwood Curve. This is probably the most crucial exit of the lap since it heads onto the longest straight of the track. Once again, the long, increasing radius of the end of the turn makes a careful right foot a must. If drivers abuse the rears, it'll make things even more difficult as the race goes on. Now we've got a chance to rest for a bit before we hit the heavy braking for the hairpin. This is the other good place to snag an overtake. It's a straight shot, but it is possible to fight back. We could see plenty of good battles erupt here. The banking of the hairpin means guys may try to hold on and keep the inside line when it switches back into revolver. You can go through here too wide, but it's going to be hairy and requires awareness from both drivers. Then we're at Piper, which really invites you to be more aggressive than is wise. Drift wide, and there's not much space before you've clouded the barrier. It's another short stretch before you come to Redmond and Hobbs. A good run can mean your final chance of the lap to sneak by somebody. This slow, technical section is going to really test the driver's ability to eke out every little tenth of lap time. As you climb up the hill, you'll reach the top, hold left, and then just breathe the throttle on your way through Mike Knight. Just be careful not to cut too far inside of the curb here. Right away, you'll get on the binders for turn 10. As you exit the corner, really focus on getting traction and accelerating down the pit straight to keep from being vulnerable into turn 1. It's an unusual combo, but this car and track should provide plenty of action today as we complete a lap at Okayama. As we watch Jari Lotari work on his qualifying, looks like he scored in second, but qualifying's not over, so guys still have time to try and mix that up. Let's talk about the points and how this is going to crown a champion. We're doing this NASCAR style with 43 points for our winner, down to 1 point for 43rd place. And yes, there are less than 43 cars here at Okayama, and we anticipate less than that at the oval race as well, but that's still the way it's going to be scored. So they'll combine those points from both races. Guy with the highest points wins. If we have a tie on points, it's going to be broken by the highest finishing position. We still got a tie from that, then it's whoever has the highest qualifying position. And if it's still a tie, then we're going to combine the qualifying times of both drivers, and who has the shortest amount of qualifying time wins. If they're still tied on that, then Richard, it's just going to be deemed a tie, because that is mightily impressive if guys manage to tie qualifying times. But let's talk about some of the stories we expect, Richard, for this race. What are these guys going to be watching out for in those cars?
I tell you what, this is going to be one heck of a fun race. As you can see, Jari Lotari at the moment, I'm watching him in the 765 car, struggling to even be on the track, much less put in a qualifying time. I guess the thing is, there are no specialists here today. Everyone is just come into this cold. I doubt that anyone has ever raced this car on this track, so it's just going to be pretty open, and we'll see what happens. Passing zones, well, turn 1 obviously. Who's going to be brave enough or daring enough to keep their speed up for that turn into 1? And then of course we have these hairpins here, turn 5, which is at the end of the back straight. Let me tell you, I've done some laps with this car, Joe. That is going to be pretty tight. It's very, very hard to turn this car in, and you've got to be very, very sensitive on the throttle as well to keep it on the track. So those are things that we need to look out for. There will be no pit stops, but of course tire wear is going to be a factor, no doubt. These cars are meant to be running mostly in a straight line and just 4 turns normally. So this is completely different for these cars. And of course, we mentioned the sensitivity to throttle. You need to be really gentle with your right foot. Joe?
Yeah, and you can see on your screen as we watch some of these drivers when they go around these corners. Even during practice, I heard drivers talking about this, that these cars love to get sideways, and it's going to be a lot of almost drifting style racing as Koba Lopez proves right there. I love his little face on the front of his car. We've got some great paint schemes out here. And speaking of Koba, who was our winner last year of the All-Star race, let's look at some of the big names that we got out here today. We've got Koba Lopez, obviously. We've got Wyatt Gooden, who I see is currently topping the times. Guy is just phenomenal in about every car he touches, it seems. Tomas Szabo, he's definitely a ringer in the MX-5 World Tour. Elliot Huffman, he was in for the championship in the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series. Yair Yanis, another guy who was way up there at MX-5 World Tour. Nick Thyssen, he was in the Enduro Pro Series, I believe, and he's driven in other stuff with us. He's very handy with software. He produces a lot of software for iRacing, so we have to give him a lot of thanks for all that he does for the community. I see Joao Freitas is out there, great driver in both Conti and the MX-5 World Tour. Let's see who else we got out there. Robert Tinsey runs in the Pacific Majors, and he's got a nice little Red Bull scheme out there on his car. He's one to watch out for the TNT team. Dylan Murcott, he's a real-world driver in the Continental Tire Sports Car Series. He's out there today, and he's driven on our broadcast a couple times. So we're glad to have Dylan out there represent the real-world drivers. Wyatt Gooden, also a real-world driver. Dexter Castro, have to give him a special mention out there, who he's been taken up a little bit with studying in college now, so he's not out there as often, but he is definitely usually one of a top runners. You can see Stefan Overgaard, also an Asbury Motorsports driver, Richard, one of your teammates, representing out there.
Quite correct. And not forgetting Sam McLear, who is one of the top drivers in the MX-5 World Tour. He's out there as well. And Joe, we've got to figure out a prize for Tomas Szabo. That is the weirdest but the best paint scheme I have ever seen.
Yeah, he posted this on the thread in the forums before this race started. Just a rust heap of a car, but everybody's been loving that one. And yeah, I have to agree. It's one thing we hadn't considered in these 2 years of running this race is maybe next year we need to have a vote amongst the drivers of best paint scheme and give some sort of award for that. Definitely can't give them a paint scheme award since that they've already got a good one as Tomas loops it there in I think turn 1. There's some really good ones. The 49 Motorsports, Sky Willis, I have to give her a special shout out since she painted all the 49 cars, and they are looking pretty snazzy. Although we've all been wondering, yeah, as we look at Yanis, the front of that car, there you can see it there. Is that an Alfa Romeo? What in the world, Sky, is going on with that? If you can hop on the broadcast on YouTube and hop in the chat, tell us what in the world is happening with that front. We've all been kind of baffled as to what you've done there. But other than that, we all love those paint schemes. Very nice, and got a nice little GSRC shout out. So hats tip to you there.
And also, Sky, when you do get on, can you please tell us who on earth Jason Isaacs is? I noticed I noticed that your signature on all the forums features a shout out to Jason Isaacs. Please let us know who he is. Joe, continuing on as they are finishing up now on the qualifying. 9 minutes. They've still got about 5 minutes left on qualifying. Just a couple of other names that we haven't made mention of as yet. We've got JD Baumgartner in there. JD is running second in the qualifying times right now. And of course, he is a GS driver that would be in a Mustang in the Continental Sports Car Series. We've also got Jari Lotari. I'm not quite sure where he's featured in our broadcast, but he's got some decent times happening there. Ricky Harden, Andre Trago, a few of the other names in there. Bill Brown, Tommy Ryan, Corey Peters. Now there's a name that is familiar to me, but I can't think where I've seen him before, Joe. And then of course Matthew Rogers and Richard E. Simpson as well.
Yeah, you mentioned Andre Trago. I can't believe we haven't put his car on screen yet. I wonder if we can get the cameras on Andre, because we were a number of us. There he is, right there. Got this wonderful Trans Am thing. He's got the Firebird on the front and everything. I love this paint scheme. This is kind of a toss-up between him and Tomas Szabo for best paint scheme. I love the old Firebird.
Yeah, certainly looks good from the front. Not so good from the rear though. He's got nothing on the back of the car, nothing on, it's just plain black at the back, but he does have Trans Am as a signature down at the bottom, and he's got that great number plate right there.
Yeah, as he almost spins it heading through there he goes. He loses it through the hairpin there, that number 64 machine. So yeah, we've been so caught up in the paint schemes, we haven't really talked about who's looking competitive quite as much. You mentioned JD Baumgartner. I'm wondering if the fact that he drives the Mustang helps him a little bit, being that high-powered, low-grip car. Wyatt Gooden, I mentioned before, sitting at the top of the qualifying currently. We watched him dominate in the name slipped my mind, the VSRA series, the first season we covered them. And just absolutely destroyed, won all but one race, I believe. And he is looking set to try and challenge Koba for the ringer out here, as Koba really took it home last year we did this race. And Koba's looking good, sitting in third right now. Tomas Szabo looking pretty handy himself with that rust bucket, sitting in fourth at the moment.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, and just looking at Koba, who's sitting third on the standings at the moment. Koba has got their standard paint scheme that they run with the Sennheiser number 94. Ade Koba Lopez, nicknamed Koba. He loves to be called just Koba. Stefan Overgaard. Let's get the camera on Stefan Overgaard in that signature number 14 car. Of course, that is a teammate of mine. I want to tell you, Joe, we have got a great team lined up for the Continental Endurance Series this season coming up soon. And of course, Stefan Overgaard will feature a lot in that series, along with some of the other great drivers that I won't bother to talk about right now. Anyway, we are looking for what is going to be a really fun race. I just can't wait to see the start of this one, Joe.
Absolutely. And you mentioned some of the series that we're broadcasting that these drivers are taking part in. I want to give a quick shout out to some of those, give mention. Definitely go check those out. If you're watching this broadcast later, go check out some of the previous races and some of them coming up. MX5 World Tour, that is a series with just the Miata, the MX5, obviously, as the name implies. Top drivers from around the world competing. It's incredibly competitive, difficult to try and win that one. Best in the world come out for that. Continental Endurance Sports Car Series, 2-class endurance series. They're introducing driver swaps this year, and that is going to be really cool to see as that series continues to try and mimic the real world.
Yes, indeed, and just a mention of the teams race. I have to say it is some of the best types of racing that I've been involved in on iRacing, the driver swaps. I'm hearing some background noise there, Joe.
I believe that's coming through our director's mic. There it goes. Yeah, he's fixed it now. I heard it too, yes. I thought he was trying to tell me something for a second. We've also got the ASRS, which is an oval series with the trucks. That's coming back this year. I don't think it's started up yet. Yeah, they haven't had their first one yet. So new season starting soon on that one. Also have the Pacific Majors, which is basically like the iRacing World Tour. All different types of racing, all different types of cars, with a new Predator format in their multi-class races. We did the first one with the Daytona 2.4 a couple weeks ago, and that was exciting. Really cool stuff. Definitely unique to that series. Go check that one out. And let's see, what else have we got? I'm trying to make sure we don't miss any out here.
What about the
Lionheart series?
Lionheart series, yep.
Yes, the Lionheart Racing Series. That is the DW12 IndyCar. They are on ovals and a few road courses. They did their first road course with some interesting results. Definitely some guys who are oval specialists had a bit of trouble with that one, but it was an exciting one to say the least. And Lionheart Racing Series brings out some really good guys. They run basically a baseline setup per oval. And so everyone is it's basically kind of like a spec series for them, and some great racing out there. Evan and Sean, two of our co-commentators, run that one. Is there any others that we're missing? I'm trying to make sure we don't miss any.
I can't think. I think you've got them all covered pretty much at this point in time. I can't seem to think of any others. Well, Joe, looks like we have less than a minute left in qualifying at the moment. Wyatt Gooden still sitting at the top of the table, with Tomas Szabo now moving into second place.
And we saw a shot of Sam McAleer having some trouble in the Doge car there, finding the barriers. But yeah, seeing that we've got Kevin Duval showed up, I see. That's one name we haven't called yet. So he's here to race. I think we've got about 22 cars out there. Interesting, Dexter Castro hasn't seemed to have put a time in qualifying, so I guess he's going to try and start from pit lane. And it looks like, qualifying is up. So let's run through this real quick. Wyatt Gooden is on pole. He held onto it. Tomas Szabo and the Rust Bucket Machine, we're going to call it, starts on the outside of the front row. JD Baumgartner doing nicely to get his machine into the inside of row 2 and third. Day Coba Lopez starts in fourth with Stefan Overgaard rounding out the top 5. Then in 6th, it's Sam McAleer, followed by Jari Lotari in 7th. Yair Yanis in 8th. Elliot Huffman in 9th. Ricky Harden in 10th, Richard.
And in 11th place, we have Nick Thyssen. And then it is Yao Freitas, Dylan Murcott, Andre Trago, Bill Brown, Tommy Rinn, as they start to grid up now, Robert Tinsey, Joe.
And then we have Corey Peters in 18th, Matthew Rogers in 19th, Richard Simpson in 20th, Kevin Duval in 21st, and Dexter Castro rounding things out in 22nd. And I think I heard word in the chat here that he is, in fact, starting from pit lane. So, as you can see them lined up on the grid, we're going to go green very soon here. and we finally get to see how these guys handle this beast of a car around this slippery Japanese circuit.
And the first row, of course, Wyatt Gooden and Tomas Szabo. They haven't taken their places on the grid. There is Tomas Szabo right now. Wyatt Gooden still to come onto the grid from first position as soon as we have him on, and there'll be another minute or so before the start. Second row, JD Baumgartner and Ade Koba Lopez. Koba, Joe, I want to say that the start is not going to be critical. It's the finish that's going to be critical in this race.
Well, as someone in the chat put it interestingly, brake very early, this car doesn't stop. So I think the start's going to be critical, and that the car is, if you can make it through the start, you're going to be set in a good position probably to try and gain. And it looks like lights are coming up. We are getting ready to go green on the second annual GSRC All-Star Invitational. Red lights are there. There's the green lights, and they are off. Wyatt Gooden seems to have a decent start. Szabo is closing on him, though. He might have a way inside into one. There he is, up into the braking, and he just backs out of it. Everyone behind them trying to slot in. We almost had 3 wide for a moment, but it looks like everybody is through clean.
Unbelievable start from these very tricky cars. I'm watching Ricky Harden. We have a little bit of action there. Ricky Harden got rear-ended right there. Perhaps we can get a replay of that. And now we have the 46 machine overtaking the 99 machine, Joe. Still good racing right here.
And Stefan Overgaard, unfortunately, looks like he ran into some trouble in turn 2 and went off on the inside and found the wall. Unfortunately, I can't see the replay at the moment. My software is a little bit buggy. But up at the front, Wyatt Gooden is leading the way, followed closely by Tomas Szabo, and then JD Baumgartner is in the top 3.
And looking right at the rear of the field, Dexter Castro has moved himself up a little bit. They enter the tricky number turn 5 right now, trying to negotiate that very tight hairpin. And then they have another tight left-hander here. They try to go in there. Single file at the moment, just trying to keep that car on the road, Joe, and it is not easy.
It looks like everybody is pretty much single file at this point, and Stefan Overgaard has regained the tail of the pack, so it looks like he wasn't damaged too much as he's already trying to run these guys down. Looks like Gooden's starting to run away just a little bit up at the top from Szabo, and behind him, Baumgartner was starting to put the pressure on, but now Baumgartner is having to worry about Koba Lopez.
That is correct. Koba Lopez in 4th place right now, and he has half a spin, manages to catch it up again, and goes down the front straight now, trying to take it to these guys in front. But you're right, Joe, it looks like Wyatt Gooden at the moment has a slim break on Tomas Szabo. JD Baumgartner doing a fantastic job in 3rd place, with Koba coming up behind them. Jari Lotari has moved up quite a few positions to be in 5th place, and then Sam McAleer with those foxes on the rear of his car. He is up into 6th place.
I think that is a dog, actually. I know a fox is a dog of some sort, but anyways, I saw some battling going on between Kevin Duvel and Richard Simpson. Simpson has left the clutches, but now Stefan Overgaard looking to make up for that early mistake as he is trying to get his way around Duvel.
Yes, at the moment, single file as they take the right-hander onto the back straight. He has the 88 car in his sights. It looks like he's going to effect a pass on the 88 car. He's got the inside line for the run down to turn 5, and it looks like he got it done there. That's good driving from Stefan Overgaard.
As he takes a position into the braking of the hairpin, we got word that Dexter blew his engine. So Dexter Castro, unfortunately, out on lap 1 of this race. Sad to see, because he is usually a great hard charger from the back of the pack. So I'm looking through to see if we've got some battles. We got a lot of cars really close from 2nd on back to what looks like 6th place with Szabo, Baumgartner, Lopez, Lotari, and Sam McAleer. And
I'm looking now at Dylan Murcutt in a very, very pink car, the number 08 machine. He is kind of sedate at the middle of the pack there and trying to make inroads, but not getting anywhere right at this minute. Dylan Murcutt, just have a look at those paint schemes. You will see an absolute plethora of different paint schemes, and what a great sight it is.
Definitely, and this is Seems like everybody's doing a really good job of trying to keep it together and not really do any stupid moves at the moment. Robert Tinsey was a little bit wide there, but right now we're looking at Lopez, who is trying to get past Baumgartner as they head down to the braking zone.
Yeah, and is not finding it as easy in this car as we see him in other cars. Notably, of course, the SRF. But he's in a handy fourth position, waiting to pounce if anybody makes a mistake in front of him. But at the moment, the lineup still is Wyatt Gooden in the lead, Tomas Szabo in second place, JD Baumgartner, what a great drive from JD, in third place, and then Koba in fourth place. However, do not discount Jari Lotari there in fifth place. Looks like he had a bit of a bobble there. Well, dare I say, a bobbling is going to be the story of the day. That's it's very, very hard to keep this car on track. As they go up the hill now towards the sequence of turns, a left-hander and then a right-hander. Still Wyatt Gooden managing to keep ahead of the rest of them. He's got a little break on Tomas Szabo, but second, third, and fourth have closed right up, Joe.
And yeah, we saw in the background Sam McAleer had a hairy moment coming out of the hairpin, but he managed to hold it together. But that lost him a lot of ground to this pack of four now of these guys battling for second place. And it's Szabo who is leading the way in front of them. Now we're looking at Jere Janis, who's trailing the car of McAleer, and we've switched back to Nick Thyssen, it looks like.
Yeah, Nick Thyssen trying to put a move on the 46 machine of João Freitas, who is towards the middle of the pack at this point in time. Unusual to see João Freitas this far back in any race. Nick Thyssen trying to put a move on João Freitas there. Of course, Nick Thyssen used to driving oval cars, so this might be a little tricky for him because it's on a road course, but nonetheless, he should have the handling of this car down, Joe.
Well, Nick Thyssen is currently sitting in 10th, so a top 10 is nothing to be ashamed of in the kind of company that he's in right now. And I have to admit, I'm impressed with how close the racing is staying with all these cars. These guys are not getting too terribly spread out. If you make a mistake, and that's going to be easy in these cars, you're going to get gobbled up by the cars behind.
That's correct. And to my mind, it seems that Wyatt Gooden at the moment seems to have everything taped down, because he's leading by about 1.5 seconds from Tomas Szabo. And Joe, these guys are putting down some incredible speed with these cars. I mean, we are talking laps of 1 minute 45 seconds, which is pretty decent in any car around here.
Yeah, it's actually a fair bit faster than the lap that we had for our lap guide, from what I understand. And I hear that we have Dexter Castro in the ready for interview room, so while I'm not seeing any huge battles going on, let's bring him in to talk real quick, see get his thoughts on the car out there. Dexter, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Dexter, sad to see you out so early. What's your thoughts on the car out there? It looks like guys are really struggling to keep it pointed straight.
I don't know, actually. I kind of just showed up 10 minutes before qualifying and was just content to start at the back of the field. But, yeah, just stupid mistake by me. I went second to first instead of second to third and just blew it right up instantly.
Sad to see. We were hoping to see you try and charge through the field. Looks like some of your teammates having a good battle out there as Elliot Huffman has taken a place from Jere Janis. You have to give Sky Willis our thanks. You guys have some great paint schemes out there.
Yeah, I mean, she does a great job whenever I don't have time to make a paint scheme, or just even sometimes when I do have time to make a paint scheme. It's always great to have someone else who can throw something together that's in the same style and looks great.
Well, again, commiserations. I know you didn't plan on doing the oval, but we'd love to see you out there if you can find time.
Yeah, well, it's not a matter of time. It's unfortunately a matter of computer. I'm still trudging through my age-old computer problems, but hopefully it's fixed next week because I ordered a new graphics card.
Well, good to hear. And back to the racing. Thanks for talking to us, by the way. Sorry. Back to the racing. I'm still watching this battle between Elliot Huffman and Jere Janis, and Jere takes the spot back once again, and it looks like João Freitas is going to get it as well, Richard.
Yes, indeed. And just move forward a little bit to JD Baumgartner. He is putting on a lot of pressure onto Tomas Szabo for that second place. And at the moment, Tomas forces the car wrenches it out of the final turn onto the front straight. But JD Bumgardner looks a lot cleaner in the turns, Joe. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take that spot from Tomas Szabo as he closes right up on the back of Tomas Szabo through turn 1. Now they take the left-hander into turn number 2. Tomas Szabo pretty good through here. Wyatt Gooden, of course, Joe, is furthering his lead all the time as these guys battle behind him.
Yeah, I noticed that Szabo is just slightly off the apex in some spots, so Baumgartner's trying to do what he can to see if he can work that in there as Szabo has a bobble coming out of one of the most critical corners, now heading on to the backstretch. This is going to be the best opportunity for Baumgartner.
Yeah, but Szabo puts the power down and manages to put a little brake on JD Baumgartner. But as I said previously, JD Baumgartner looks a lot cleaner through the turn, so I'm expecting him to do better than Szabo as he closes right up. Nearly made contact there, Joe. I don't think will make much difference to the rust bucket. It looks like it's been through the walls already.
Yeah, the guys have been keeping the cars pretty clean out there. Obviously, these are very sturdy cars, but you still want to try and keep it in one piece, so I haven't seen really much in the way of accidents. That's just a testament to the level of skill that we've got out here, because these are definitely not easy to drive. I want to hop back to Sam McAleer real quick, because speak of the devil, he almost throws it away coming through these tight, twisty, technical sections, and that allows Jer Yanis to just get right up on the back of that machine.
Correct. Jerry Yanis on the back of Sam McAleer there. I'm looking at Sam's car and I see those what I called foxes. They actually look like huskies to me now. So
I believe they're Shiba Inus.
Well, whatever they are, they look pretty nice. Anyway, back to the racing. Jer Yanis on the rear end of Sam McAleer going into turn 1. Sam McAleer does put the power down a bit earlier than Jer there and gets away from him a little bit. So this is a race here for the 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th place, sorry, and looks like the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have put quite a break on these two, so they're battling here for mid-pack honors at the moment, Joe.
And just behind them, we saw a little bit of action as well between Nick Thyssen and Elliot Huffman. Thyssen trying everything, driving that car almost completely sideways around some corners just to get the power down. He's closed up on the back of the 49 Motorsports machine, and Huffman is already going defensive.
Yeah, I see that Elliot's doing a great job with this car as well, but Nick Thyssen trying to put a move on. I mean, it is not easy. There's even in road cars that are used to driving left and right, it is not easy to overtake on this course at all. And I take my hat off to these guys with these cars that are a handful just to get around here, actually trying to make overtaking maneuvers, Joe.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of them. A few little battles here and there, but it's been mostly single file. But between JD Baumgartner and Tomas Szabo, the second place battle we've been watching quite a bit, that one has stayed very close, about 0.4 of a second between them still. Baumgartner's just been searching and trying to find a way past.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that one, Joe. Let's go back to Stefan Overgaard, who is way down in 18th place at the moment, but he's in a bit of a battle with two cars in front of him. In front of him we have Bill Brown in the 84 machine, and ahead of him we've got Andre Trego in the 64, the Trans Am machine there. So we're looking to see if Stefan Overgaard can improve his position from the rear of the field. He has made up a couple of spots and he's trying to overtake Bill Brown. Not easy, as we have already mentioned. Now he comes right up onto the back of Bill Brown. They go down through the left kink and then the right hand kink, call it S's if you like, down into the braking zone for the turn into the back straight. Stefan gets his car on the inside, manages to make a move. I think he's got it there, Joe.
That very clean move from Stefan. He was setting that up from about turn 2, so wonderfully executed. And you have to keep in mind, he qualified in 5th, currently now sitting in 16th. So Stefan has a ways to go to get back up into the position that his pace merits. He's doing a nice job trying to get it out there. We still have about 15 and a half minutes left to go, or just about 15 minutes left to go, I believe, on the clock. This is a 30-minute timed race, so these guys are looking just about more than 15 laps, I believe, that they can achieve in that time.
Yeah, that is just about right. And Joe, back to the front now with JD Baumgartner. He's still trying to get that position from Tomas Szabo, but Tomas seems to have him covered, particularly on the exit onto the front straight. As we see that Tomas streaks away, and then JD closes up in the tighter bits of the course. Going into turn 1 now, we see that JD will close up a little bit again. So the battle for the second position is still on, and if any one of these guys make a mistake, third place for JD, fourth place Adey Koba-Lopez, who seems to be falling off from these two just a little bit at the moment. And Jari Lotari looking to challenge the great Koba-Lopez for the fourth position, Joe.
Yeah, he's been right on the back of him. I thought he was going to make a move into 1, but just was not quite close enough. Lotari is closing in now down the backstretch. Are we going to see a defensive move from Koba? It looks like he's still holding his line. He doesn't think he can make it. He's very close, though, if he can be late on the brakes. Just not close enough, though, as Lotari holds position in 5th.
Yeah, Joe, if you want to be late on the brakes in this car, you better have,
an anchor in there somewhere.
Yeah, something else that you can throw out the back window or the side window, because these cars don't stop easily. Koba manages to keep in front of Jari Lotari. Let's check in one position back to Sam McAleer. We're getting some information there which I just missed, Joe.
We're on Dylan Murcott right now as he was trying to work his way past Tommy Ryan in that Goodwrench number 3 machines, the shades of Dale Earnhardt there as they work their way through the technical section. Whoa, a little bit wide from Ryan. Is he going to be able to get through this corner? It looks like Murcott is closing up on the back of that car, and just a big wobble from Ryan coming out of the right-hander. Now into this fast penultimate corner into the final one. Is he going to be able to get close enough? This is going to be his best chance if he can just get a good exit.
Yeah, but once again, the 3 machine of Tommy Ryan manages to get a launch out of the final turn and stay ahead of Dylan Murcott. I have to say that pink car is very hard on my poor old eyes here, Joe.
Well, I know you were talking about Sam McAleer in the Doge car just a little bit up, and he's got Jere Yanis all over the back of him. These guys fight each other quite a bit in the MX-5 World Tour, so they're going to be familiar with one another. Just not close enough for Yanis to try and make a move, but he could be setting him up as they come onto the backstretch. It's an uphill climb around this long open exit of this right-hander. Now onto this kinked backstretch down to the hairpin. And it looks like he's not going to quite be close enough.
No, indeed, he's not going to be close enough. He has to brake now to ensure that he doesn't get into the back of the 43 machine. Gets a good exit out of the turn. He does touch Sam McAleer's car there, but no foul. Nothing to worry about right there. Now they're going to the left-hander once again. Jay Yanis trying to force the issue with Sam McAleer there, and succeeding to a certain extent, but Sam manages to hold him off, Joe.
So, as a road racer used to road cars, and since you said you hopped in this car, what do you think these guys are struggling with, these road guys are struggling with right now in this machine?
I think the worst part of driving this car is the turn-in. When you think the car should be turning in, it doesn't. It just keeps going straight. And you will see a lot of the guys going really wide through the hairpins, Joe. So that's the big problem here. Power is no... Go ahead.
It looks like Jere Yanis is setting up a pass. He's looking at the inside of Sam down into turn 1. He's trying his best to outbrake him. These cars just not slowing down. Sam holding on around the outside. They could stay side by side through turn 2. He just ekes ahead and claims the line as now they head into 2. But it's not over yet, as it's an over-under for Jere Yanis. He's got the momentum. He's just not quite side by side as they head through the S's, the Moss S as it's called, down into the braking zone of turn 4, and just not able to get it done, as Jere Yanis is going to have to try and set it up a little bit later again.
And he gets a great exit onto the backstretch there. Sam McAleer has a little bobble. Great driving from Sam McAleer, I have to say, Joe. He defended very, very well there. Now we see Jay Yanis trying again down the backstretch. and they come through that little kink right now. They come into the braking zone. Jay Yanis has to brake his car hard. You can see the front of the car dip down, Joe, as they apply the brakes, and a little big bobble from both cars, and they try to... Whoa, Jay Yanis! Sam McAleer, always, sideways, all kind of different methods using to get through these turns. And now Jay Yanis comes alongside, and he's got the inside for the left-hand turn as they come through, and looks like he gets it done. I think that Sam McAleer will have to concede at this point and try again.
And just behind them,
gets
Thyssen is
turned
off.
by a car behind him. Elliot Huffman touched Sam McAleer, but somehow Sam manages to keep it on the track, Joe. All kinds of action here from these guys.
We saw on our screen that was Nick Thyssen in the 99 who just had an off. But yeah, I was going to say that all this battling was allowing Elliot Huffman to just get right up behind these guys. I thought he was going to try and sneak past McAleer, but it looks like he wasn't close enough to try and just get the pass in.
Yeah, it looks like Elliot Huffman made some very bold moves there, and Nick Thyssen was involved in a little bit of an off there, as we said, and he's fallen back just a little bit, but going one place ahead to Dylan Murcott now, who's challenging Tommy Ryan for the what looks like the 10th place at the moment, and he's all over the back of him, so the racing is starting to get pretty hectic at the moment, and these guys are getting used to this car now, so they're throwing it around with only about 8 minutes to go in this race, Joe.
And let's stay on this battle, but I just want to give a heads up that Jari Lotari did manage to get past Bubba Lopez, so Jari Lotari has moved himself up into 4th, but Dylan Murcott currently trying to hunt down that number 3 Good Wrench machine. He looks to the inside, heading towards the hairpin.
Yes, indeed, and now he takes a wider line, make the turn into the hairpin there. It looks like Tommy Ryan does have him covered as they go to the left now. Will he manage to keep it on track? They both do a great job keeping it on track. It's amazing to me how much speed they're getting around some of these very, very tight turns for this car. But the battle is not finished just yet. Dylan Murcott trying everything that he's got to overtake Tommy Ryan, but not happening right at the moment. Let's hop back now to Koba in the number 94 machine, who was overtaken by Jari Lotari. He is trying to get that position back, but Jari will have none of it. Jari, in fact, closing up on JD Bumgardner. Will he have enough time to make inroads on JD? Tomas Szabo still hanging in there in 2nd place in the rust bucket. And of course, Wyatt Gooden, Joe, clear out in front of this race.
Yeah, we haven't taken a lot of time to mention Wyatt except for the start, but he is just dominating. Currently, the gap is about 4.5 seconds between him and 2nd place Szabo, but he has just been unhassled, which is pretty characteristic for Gooden, as we've come to see him in that radical machine in most of the races that he shows up in.
Yeah, he's got a lead of about 3/4 of the back straight there. Let's just focus for a moment on JD Bumgardner and Tomas Szabo for the 2nd place. It doesn't look as if much has changed there. Tomas has managed to stay ahead of JD. JD's been pushing hard to try and get Szabo, but not very easy, and Tomas has just managed to stay ahead. But the battle is still on, make no mistake, Joe. These guys are battling hard for 2nd place here. And what that is doing is allowing Jari Lotari to catch up. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him close right up on the back of these two. And then we might have a 3-way battle for 2nd place.
I wonder if Hungary just has a lot of really bad rust-covered cars, and he's used to driving those type of cars, because Szabo is doing phenomenal out there in 2nd, and especially holding off a talent like JD Baumgartner this far into the race. We've got 7 minutes left to go, so he's running out of opportunities to make this happen.
Yeah, well, battle from 9th, 10th, and 11th. We're getting information. That's Tommy Ryan, Dylan Murcott, and Jao Freitas. And Jao Freitas leading this little pack here. Tommy Ryan just behind him, trying to get that position away from him. And of course, Dylan Murcott in the rear of these two, trying to get them, but he's fallen back just a little bit. So that battle has just petered out for the moment.
And just behind them, we saw on screen for a moment, was Nick Thyssen, who must have had some trouble into the tone of our director there. But Stefan Oergaard, you'll like this, Asbury Motorsports driver, has climbed all the way up to 13th, and now he is challenging Thyssen to see if he can crack into the top 12.
Yes, and they go into turn 2 there, and he's all over the back of Nick Thyssen at the moment. Stefan Overgaard, get him, Stefan. As they come down to the braking area, this is where we've seen that Stefan Overgaard's very good, and he proves it once again as he goes to the inside. Thyssen keeps it wide. I think he'll have a run on Thyssen down to the braking area for turn 5. The hairpin there, Joe. Another position for Stefan Overgaard if he can hold it together. He's got the inside. Can he? Yes, he goes into the braking zone, brakes a little deeper. Oh, sorry, brakes a little later, I should say, than Nick Thyssen. Nick Thyssen tries to come back, but I think he's lost that position. Another one for Stefan Overgaard. Go get him, Stefan.
Oh, it's not over yet. Thyssen is looking to the inside of this left-hander, and it looks like he might have the spot as he almost pushes him out of the way, side by side, but no contact made between the drivers. Stefan Overgaard has the better run down into the technical section, and it looks like he's going to try and cut him off. Almost makes contact. Thyssen going sideways, trying to keep it out of the rear spoiler of that car. Still trying to come back at him as he looks around the outside, and both of them almost spin.
He's lost it. He manages to get it back on the track. 99 also lost it. And in fact, both these two have lost the positions to two cars who now came by and are in front of them. And they're still battling, but they've lost 2 positions. What great driving from these guys, I have to say. This car, we've said it before, it's not easy to drive, and these guys have just proven that you can basically, Joe, take any car and put on any track, and drivers will make the best of it.
Absolutely. That was Ricky Harden and Robert Tinsley that worked their way past those two as they were off track. And we're hearing that Ricky Harden is a lap down, though. So, yeah, he's out of position there. So that was only one position that he lost.
There. JD Baumgartner. Dylan Murcott, we're getting information, still trying to pull that move on Tommy Ryan. Nothing has changed. They go down the back straight right now. And Tommy Ryan driving brilliantly, trying to get Jan Freitas now. If this was any other car, Jan Freitas would probably be a lap or so ahead. As we see Tommy Ryan spinning the car, great save there from him to keep it out of the wall. He did touch the wall, but now he has lost the position to Dylan Murcott. And Dylan Murcott will breathe a sigh of relief that he did not get involved by tapping or touching Tommy Ryan as he spun around. But Dylan Murcott through. He's lost a little bit of time to Jan Freitas, who I'm sure also must be breathing a sigh of relief, Joe, that he's managed to get away from these guys. So at the moment, this is the situation. It's closed down now, so we can go on and have another look at what's happening up front.
Yeah, and Dylan Murcott got on the radio and is asking how Tommy Ryan saved that. Ryan responded with simply magic. So as we look at our leaders, that's still Wyatt Gooden in the lead, Szabo in second, Baumgartner in third. But Szabo has been dealing with pressure pretty much every single lap of this race, with Baumgartner's 49 Motorsports street stock still just hassling him lap after lap. And with just over 2 minutes left to go, I have to imagine they're going to be getting the white flag next time by.
Yeah, they will, and Wyatt Gooden will be the man to get that white flag unless something very, very unexpected happens. Second place, Szabo and JD Baumgartner in third place. This is the battle. Jari Lotari has closed up a little bit, but he hasn't made a significant inroad there, Joe, so I think that he won't have enough time to get into the battle with these two. So the battle, as always, for second place. In most of our broadcasts, we'll have a leader who's doing well, and the battle normally is on for the second place, and it's no different here.
Yeah, and it looks like Gooden is going to get ready to take the white flag in a couple more corners. Just a little ways back, I did notice that Dylan Murcott had caught up to the back of João Freitas very quickly. So Murcott is getting adapted to this car quite well and is starting to make inroads up through the field. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to make a go with 1 lap to go on the Portuguese driver.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that battle. We'll also keep an eye on the battle for second position. At the moment, Dylan Murcott trying to get to grips there with the 46 machine. Now, Jan Freitas has a bit of a bobble, but then again, so does Dylan Murcott as well. Freitas now goes into that right-hander before approaching the final turn on this course. It's great to see how these guys launch these cars through those couple of turns there, Joe. I don't think that Dylan Murcott has enough to catch and pass Freitas, sorry. And so back to you, Joe. Let's see what Wyatt Gooden is. He should be on his final lap right now.
Yep, we just heard one of the drivers call out that the white flag is in fact out, so he is on his way to this win unless he makes a serious mistake at this point. He's got a gap of 6 seconds between himself and Szabo.
Correct, and Szabo has managed to shake off JD Bumgardner just a little bit as they go into the final turns now of this race. Joe, this has been a fantastic race. More.
There's a battle just behind them as Lotari is having to go defensive on Coba Lopez. Lopez trying to work his way around to get into fourth and just can't seem to find an opening.
Yes, he is right on the back, all over Jari Lotari, who we thought had shaken him off. Now he has a look on the inside there, doesn't think it will happen, so he stays in line.
And we're going to have to jump up to our leader and leave this battle just a moment as he's got one more corner to go. Wyatt Gooden is going to take the first part of this doubleheader all-star race here at Okayama in the street stock down the front stretch. Unchallenged the entire way in the Radical Machines. Wyatt Gooden wins the race.
And we have Tomas Szabo. Looks like he'll finish in second place with JD Bumgardner still trying to pass him. Tomas spins the car. You know, Tomas Szabo's from, I think, Central Eastern Europe. Must be all those Russian throwaways they're getting there, mate.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier he's Hungarian, I believe. So cars are coming across. Szabo took second, Baumgartner third, Lotari came in fourth, Coba Lopez did wind up in the top five and fifth. Yanis managed to finish sixth as cars are having fun after the finish line there. Huffman did manage to solidify seventh, McAleer in eighth, João Freitas in ninth. Dylan Murcott finished in the top 10. Nice job to Dylan. He had very little practice in this car. He was a late entry. Tommy Ryan in 11th, so he managed to get past Ryan, which we did see on screen. Tinsley in 12th, and it looks like pretty much everybody is done at this point.
Yeah, and just for viewers who may be wondering what the heck is going on right now, this is par for the course. When the race is finished, these guys do all kinds of crazy stuff, including bumping each other off the track and sending them into the sky, etc., and doing donuts and burnouts and all other kinds of things. So a great race, Joe. I thought that this might be a wreckfest, but it wasn't really.
Yeah, everyone did a really good job handling these cars. We saw a few people squirming around as we watched Coba Lopez enjoy himself. But we need to take a short break, switch over to Indianapolis. It'll just be a short digital jet flight over there. We'll be back in a moment. Watch the screen. That'll give you the information for the next race, which will be up in a short while.
So what do we do now, Joe? We get out of this session?
Yeah, we'll have to go hop over. It should be on now.
Is it the same password?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna get out of this. I'll save this just in case.
Alright, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do that too.
Are we awarding points to Kevin? Well, yeah, Kevin Duvat. Yeah, Dexter Castro did start that, didn't he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, give him a point.
I'll be back.
All right.
Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and after one round being done in the 2015 GSRC All-Star Invitational, we are getting set to do the oval round. Let's go over the finishers real quick. The finishing order of the last race at Okayama in the street stock. Wyatt Gooden came home with the win on that one. Tomas Zabo managed to hold off intense pressure to finish second, and JD Baumgartner rounded out the top three. Then Yari Lotari finished fourth with Ade Cobo Lopez in fifth. Yari Yanish came home in sixth with Elliot Huffman seventh, Sam McAleer eighth, Joao Freitas in ninth, and then Dylan Murcott rounded out the top 10. Very nice job considering he qualified in, actually I don't see where he qualified, but I know he moved up quite a few positions. Tommy Ryan finished in 11th. Robert Tinsey came home 12th with Nick Thyssen in 13th after some troubles throughout the race. Stefan Overgaard worked his way back up into 14th. He started 5th though, so it's going to be a disappointing finish for the Dane. Bill Brown finished 15th. Corey Peters in 16th. Richard Simpson in 17th. Matthew Rogers came home in 18th, followed by Andre Trago in 19th. Then in 20th, it's Ricky Harden, Kevin Duvel in 21st, and Dexter Castro blew his engine on the first lap, unfortunately, and finished in 22nd. So, as we've now taken our digital airplanes, Richard, all the way over here to Indianapolis, why don't we talk a little bit about the track? Tell our viewers some of the stats about this course.
Alrighty, so we are now at Indianapolis. This is a 2.5 mile oval course, 4.02 kilometers, 4 turns of course being an oval, and we've got 9 degrees of banking, so pretty flat track by oval standards. We are going to be doing 30 laps around here in the Cadillac CTS-V, and the guys are already out there practicing. There's not that much time left for practice before we get into the qualifying. Quite a difference between this one and the last race, Joe. This one will be flat out most of the way, just lifting for those turns. Expect some very, very high speeds of around 170 miles an hour as these cars get the power down, and these cars are good on this track. They stick pretty well, so it's going to be a very interesting race, a draft race of course.
Well, if the practice times are anything to go by, as we watch Elliot Huffman there, he's got Yari Lotari next to him as they go into turn 1. JD Baumgartner is currently sitting second. He's sitting second on the timing screen in practice, and he finished third in the last race. If he can keep that up in the race, keep his car clean, he's looking very good for winning the overall crown of this all-star double header. But yeah, some of the things the drivers are going to have to watch out for is the draft. We're hearing the draft in this car is significant, so it's going to be an interesting race. It's not flat out the whole way around, so drivers will have to lift, but they will get passing opportunities if the draft stays in play. But also, the understeer of this car, Richard, we experienced this as having wheeled around it a bit in this car. I think that's going to catch a few drivers out.
Oh, indeed. And the setup of these cars, of course, is for road courses normally. So they are going to have to change the setup quite significantly to get the car around here. We found in our practice sessions that you want to have very low tire pressure on the left side of the car and a significantly higher tire pressure on the right-hand side of the car to aid that turn into these corners. You will have to lift. These guys cannot go flat out all the way around. It will not work. And of course, they have to be aware at all times of the extra speed they will pick up in the draft, Joe. And that might catch a few guys out as they go into these turns, which are not easy. You mentioned understeer, quite correct. A lot of understeer in these cars. And that can be corrected, though, with the setup.
Cautions will be on in this race, so this 30-lap race, drivers will have to try and keep it clean, so we don't want a caution fest. I'm sure nobody's going to be happy to be wheeling around behind the pace car for 25 of 30 laps, but as we said, there's a lot of talent even on both sides, road course and oval side out here, so I expect guys should be behaving well, and qualifying has started now. They're going to have 2 laps solo out there, so can't expect any help with the draft, and they've got to get it done within 2 laps without hitting the wall, touching the grass or anything, and get a timed lap in. Other things that we should talk about, we haven't mentioned, there are a couple awards up for grabs. Obviously, the overall crown of this event, that's bragging rights, but it's not just that. They're going to get a driver's special champion video, edited by myself, actually. It was Coba Lopez, we mentioned, got that video last year, and that's going to be custom made for the driver, showing their exploits in iRacing. And then also there is the Clean Driver Award, with the prize for that being from Zahn Skins. Our very own commentator Bill Zahn paints cars, and driver with the lowest incidence is overall in both races combined is going to win that award. And of course, most spots gained from qualifying position is going to be the Hard Charge Award, and our very own director Kevin Brown is going to paint a car for that prize. And I'm looking forward to that, Richard. We're going to try and tally that up before the broadcast is over, once we take a break after this race, and announce that on air so that you all can know who won what. But I'm looking forward to seeing who wins things, Richard.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've got pretty much at the moment, I'm looking at the driver list here, and pretty much the same drivers from the previous race are back again. Wyatt Gooden currently has not put in any time at all, so he's got in a little bit late. Be interesting to see, Joe, what sort of qualifying times these guys put in. I'm getting information here, Joe, that Yeri Yanis wants an interview, so let's hop over to him then.
Yeah, let's bring him in here and ask him real quick about that. Yer, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Let's try and get this in so he can rush off to DGFX, which I know you're running soon. How was it out in that car? It looked like a handful to us, but it was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it's quite slippery, like kind of driving on ice or snow.
So I guess being finished, that's a familiar feeling for you.
Yeah, definitely. Although I haven't driven a rear-wheel drive car on snow or ice, but it felt kind of the same.
Well, it seemed like you got a decent result. You and your 49 Motorsports guys certainly were having some good battles between each other throughout most of that. Especially you and Sam McAleer, it looked like.
Yeah, Sam was making little mistakes here and there, and ultimately allowed me to get past him.
Well, we're sad you couldn't join us for the oval race, but we're glad that you came out for the street stock, and it seemed like you guys had fun. So, thanks for coming and joining us, and hopefully you can be here for both races next year.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. Thanks for hosting this event.
Well, let's take a look at how qualifying is going. It looks like JD Baumgartner is in fact looking in a good position, sitting second at the moment, and it looks like his laps are up, so he'll have to see if anybody is able to top him. Elliot Huffman is just ahead of him though, so he won't be starting on the pole.
Quite correct. Elliot Huffman just clocked a 52.916 seconds. That is really good. So obviously these guys have worked out some of the possible kinks they might have in this car. 52 seconds, that's less than a minute for 2.5 miles. That's fast, Joe.
And we're already getting some gamesmanship going on in the chat. I see Sam McAleer was asking how much fuel they need, and Elliot Huffman responded with a Dr. Evil smile. So I guess he's not willing to divulge that. I see that Wyatt Gooden is now heading out for his qualifying laps. This is going to be critical. He won the last race. All he needs is a good finish here to finish ahead of JD Baumgartner to try and seal the deal and get himself the crown of the 2015 champion for the All-Star race. So as guys continue around, let's see who else is looking at what. Dylan Murcott's not looking too bad with not much time to practice in this car. He's currently sitting in 8th out on track, I see.
Yeah, and so Stefan Overgaard, remember he started in 5th place in the last race. He is currently in 6th place in the standings. I'm trying to see, Joe, who are recognized oval drivers here. Nick Thyssen, we know, is a recognized oval driver. He raced in the, I think it was the B car in one of our series. Robert Tinsey is also an oval driver, I think. But that's all that I can think of right now.
I don't believe Tinsley's a typical oval driver. I know he's put a bit in because we were talking about that when we had the official practice sessions. Richard Simpson is a regular oval guy, I believe. Bill Brown as well. Matthew Rogers. Ricky Harden is another oval guy. I think Corey Peters is also an oval driver. Tommy Ryan tends to run in the oval series that we have. And I'm trying to think who else is out there. I think that's it mostly. Although some of these road guys, some of them can be oval ringers as well. You just never know who's running both out there.
Well, I am looking at the standings and I'm looking for Wyatt Gooden. So yes, he's put in a time 53.8. That is a fair way off. Not that it means much at this point in time because the draft will take care of a lot of that. But we want to watch Wyatt Gooden, Tomas Szabo specifically, and of course JD Baumgartner. That was the top 3 from the last race. If they score well here, they'll be in contention to win the doubleheader, Joe.
Absolutely. Szabo and Baumgartner seem to be looking this in the best position right now. But like you said, we never know with that draft and cautions what could happen with Wyatt Gooden trying to work his way through the field, currently sitting in 15th down there. So he has got some work to do, that's for sure. The other thing to consider is the drop-off from the tires. Now, the information that we were given was that the tires will tend to go off if the driving stays green for a while. So I'm not sure if we're going to see guys try and play a strategy card, get fresh tires, hop back out there and try and carve their way through the field. But this is a big unknown for us, Richard. We just don't know what well, I guess you know a little bit better because you've done ovals in the Cadillac. So what are you expecting an oval race in this car looking like?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that at the moment. To me, 30 laps as an oval race is quite a short race. You have a lot more laps if you're running, say, the A car at one of these courses. They will do 80 laps or 100 laps on these tracks. So 30 laps should be gettable in a road car specifically, which has to contend with turns left and right. You should be able to get 30 laps out of one set of tires. And in a 30 lap race, I wouldn't be coming in 4 tires. I'd just make sure I got enough fuel to do the 30 laps. So I don't expect many to come in for tires, Joe.
Well, drivers are asking each other about all the different ins and outs of this race, whether it's going to be single file or double file. They did get that information, by the way, so if they didn't do the research, that's kind of on them on this one. But it is a one-off race, and guys do have busy schedules as we see Wyatt Gooden finishing his lap up there. And I did see one interesting thing. Sam McAleer was saying he's having a hard time. He qualified in 17th. We got just a little bit left. I think Dexter Castro is the only one who hasn't put his lap in, and I think he said he's not going to be able to race because he has computer issues, which he said during the interview. So we might have a solid field at this point we might want to go through. But I was going to say, the Sam McAleer was saying that he's only bought this for the road course, which is kind of our reasoning here at GSRC for choosing this one. We knew a lot of road course guys were going to have this one because Indy gets used fairly frequently on the road side, but it's also obviously mostly a road course or a oval course. So we knew that guys would not have the excuse that they didn't have it and wouldn't want to buy it. So we at least would get a decent show. We had 21 drivers, 22 drivers, I think, in the last round. We've got 19 out there who've put in a lap. If Dexter does manage to get his car in the grid, it'll be 20. So let's go through the qualifying real quick. Elliot Huffman sitting on the pole, looking quite handy up there for who is typically a road guy. JD Baumgartner as well, looking very good in second, rounding out the front row. Stefan Oergaard is quite good in qualifying on both sides, it seems, as he's starting in third. Tomas Szabo starts on the outside of the second row in fourth, with Jari Lotari in fifth. Nick Thyssen will start the race in sixth, with Robert Tinsley behind him in seventh. Then it's Joao Freitas in eighth, Dylan Murcott in ninth, and Tommy Ryan, Richard, will start in the 10th position.
And in 11th place, Corey Peters, who made comment in the chat here where one of the guys was asking about how do you not make it steer right. And he said, well, just tie a sandbag on the left-hand side of the car. And so he's... He's starting in 11th place. 12th place, is Ade Koba Lopez, then Ricky Harden, Matthew Rogers, Wyatt Gooden, well down, Bill Brown, Sam McAleer, also well down, Richard E. Simpson, Andre Trago, and Dexter Castro will not start. That's your field for today. 19 cars will take the grid. Over to you for the start, Joe. Looks like they're getting ready.
Yes, indeed. They're lining up behind the pace car. And with this being an oval race, it is going to be a rolling start, obviously. And all these road guys are going to want to have to practice that. A lot of road series do standing starts. So got to make sure you know how to do a rolling start, how to get your momentum up, and really take advantage of it and be able to call it on when your competitor goes. So a lot of different things between road and oval, Richard, that if they want to win overall on points, they're really going to have to know all the little details.
Yeah, quite correct. I just hope a lot of these guys did some practice laps with other cars on the track or friends that they practiced with, because the draft is going to make a very significant difference to how this car performs through those turns. I also would like to just mention that some of the series in the official side of iRacing do rolling starts. I'm thinking of the Grand Touring Cup, for instance. They do rolling starts. A lot of the multi-class series do rolling starts. So a lot of these guys should be used to rolling starts if they take part in multi-class racing.
Absolutely. So it's not to say that they won't have done it, but there can be cases where they haven't done it before. As they take off behind the pace car, I want to talk about each of these corners real quick. That's one thing I do feel a little bit knowledgeable about is Indianapolis. Being from a Hoosier family myself, and been there a number of times. Turn 1 they went through very sharp compared to the rest. With this being a 100-year-old track, each of the corners are just slightly different, and you have to take them differently. So it's very easy to bin it with Turn 1 coming in at a high speed. Now through Turn 2, a little bit more open, especially in this car, just a little bit of a lift and a lot of apron that you can take down there, Richard, that these guys are going to want to take advantage of. But as always, don't want to understeer off into the barrier on the outside of 2, because if you lift heading down the backstretch, you're going to lose a lot of speed. Now heading towards 3, a lot easier than going into Turn 1, a little bit more open and wide. So these guys might be looking a little bit more aggressively to try and go too wide through there, whereas Turn 1, it's very difficult to try and hold on to it. And then you've got, of course, the short chutes between the corners, where you want to be so careful about not putting it into the wall once again. It's easy to brush it or bin it all the way up and pancake the side of the car. And then you've got Turn 4, very critical, heading on to the front stretch to try and get a very good exit out of this corner, and make sure and get a run to the line so that you don't get sniped when you cross the start-finish. But pace car is coming around, going to peel off and kick off this second half of the 2015 GSRC All-Star Invitational. There goes the pace car. Elliot Huffman leads the way. Waiting for that green flag to fall. There it is, and they are off and away with Elliot Huffman leading second place J.D. Baumgartner to the line and down into Turn 1.
Yes, and I am driving at the moment with Nick Thesson, who on the outside immediately gets past Lotari.
We've already got an accident.
Yeah. Joe, he's out on the grass.
That was
and he's
kicked
lost
off.
a whole bunch of positions there. And
We've got a caution.
And we have a caution come out as well. Well, that did not make it half a lap there, Joe.
Yeah, and that was kicked off by Yari Lotari. I believe we're looking at the replay, I believe he got rear-ended by someone. I'm not sure who that is. It looks like Robert Tinsey, actually. I think he had to check up because of Stefan Overgaard. Yeah, you can see just a bit of a checkup. And as Lotari got put into the grass, cars behind him were trying to scatter. Tinsey, unfortunately, up into the wall there. A number of other cars trying to see who else was involved in that. Gray car I'm seeing as well. That is Koba Lopez. Oh, bad for Lopez. He's got a lot of damage. They have no spare cars either.
Oh, there's a couple of cars in the pits, yeah. So Koba Lopez is in the pits, and we have, I can't see who that is in front of him, but let's go just back whilst they are doing their pace laps. Now, this is the boring part of oval racing where you have pace laps. It'll be at least 4 laps before they get going again, and that all counts, Joe. So that's 4 laps off the 30 that they will not be able to count or race each other.
Yeah, so they're going to want to have to try and clean things up for the next one. I see Corey Peters was also involved in that, heavy damage on that car. Sam McAleer, unfortunately, had a run-in with Peters as well, trying to avoid him. And I'm seeing that, unfortunately, he's going to have to get a black flag cleared, so we'll have to try and get our marshal on that.
Now,
So-
Jari Lotari has actually managed to keep going, so he is still out there and racing. He's got the number 1 on his car, which means that technically he's got the highest I rating in this race. Now, Joe, remind me, I did not check the specs for this race. Is it a single file restart or a double file restart?
It is a double file. We may regret that if this keeps going yellow, but guys, we'll have to learn, that's for sure. So we've got a couple laps for guys to gather together as they come now across the line. Let's see if we can figure out the order after a bit of chaos there at the start and read that off to you so you can see where everybody is. It looks like Elliot Huffman is still up in the lead. JD Baumgartner is still in second, so he is still sitting in a good position. Same thing with Thomas Szabo, who is in third. Nick Thyssen is still in fourth. Stefan Overgaard managed to avoid the lap 1 trouble this time and is in fifth. Then we've got Joao Freitas, in sixth. Tommy Ryan sitting in seventh, our highest specifically oval guy. Although I hear you saying that Nick Thyssen is typically an oval person, so maybe he is our highest. Jari Lotari, as you said, managed to avoid all the trouble. He is sitting in 8th. Then in 9th, it's Dylan Murcott. And rounding out the top 10 is Ricky Harden. And interestingly, Wyatt Gooden, despite running into trouble in that, is sitting in 11th. So he's still in this thing.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, I had the camera on Nick Thyssen at the start. I was trying to figure out what he was going to do. Now, we know that he qualified in 6th place. He's up to 4th place, so he made up a couple of positions even in that very, very short period of time before the caution came out. And I'm looking for Nick Thyssen to have a very good showing here. But we've seen that JD Baumgartner, Tomas Szabo, and Elliot Huffman are no pushovers in any type of racing. So going to be very interesting. Let's get the pace car out of the way and get back to racing, because I'm interested to see what is going to happen here. And the lights, let's have a look. Are the lights still on the pace car? Yes, indeed. So we will have at least 1 more lap before we get a restart, Joe.
I wonder if we can get a camera on Jari Lotari. We keep seeing glances of him on the screen. He is going to be at a distinct disadvantage once we see the front of that car. We got a rear angle right now. And I'm not sure who exactly is in front of him, but we should be switching to a front angle soon here.
Yeah, he's got a bit of damage on the front end of his car. And you can see it's crinkled up in the front there. However, that may not be a problem in the early part of the race, but the car might start to overheat if he's got any damage to the engine there. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, now they're going side by side for the 2 wide restart, so we are going to go green next time by.
Yeah, and you'll see some of the guys come up to the rear end of the car in front and then brake hard. That is a ploy. It is to warm up the tires. So it's one of the things that oval drivers do to get the tires warm. Not sure how it works in a road car on an oval course. We shall have to wait and see. But they are lining up 2 by 2. The front row, Elliot Huffman and JD Baumgartner. Second row, Tomas Szabo and Nick Thyssen. Keep the camera on Nick Thyssen on the restart, guys. I just have a feeling about this guy in this race.
We're getting word from YouTube comments that that Nick is a road guy. He drives the HPD and DP. So, well, I guess we have some debate over which side he is. I guess you can always be both. Sometimes guys are good on both sides, especially if they're into some series like IndyCar, which do drive both ovals and road courses. But we've got 2 corners.
No, I have to disagree. Jay, in the series that we covered, one of our series, I think it was, I just can't remember now. Nick, yeah, it might be, I don't know. But anyway, Nick Thyssen was one of the drivers, and they were driving the B car. And Nick fared very well in that series overall. So that is why I'm calling him an oval driver. Yes, he may drive road cars as well.
Well,
But
we're getting
certainly-
ready to go green, so it looks like we
Go
are
for
going to
it.
have a restart, and let's see if we can get a lap around this time. Right now, JD Baumgartner and Thomas Szabo are tied on points. One of them is going to want to have to try and make some progress, maybe try and get past Elliott Huffman to see what they can do as the green flag comes out, and Elliott leads them away down to turn one. Let's see if we can get this one clean.
And Wyatt Gooden had to take evasive action for Dylan Murcott, and we have another spin. We have a big wreck here. Cars, Yari Lotari, I see Dylan Murcott involved there as well, out on the grass right now. Yari Lotari definitely involved as well. Not a good start to our oval racing, guys.
And that was kicked off by Nick Thyssen and Joao Freitas as we're looking at the replay. It looks like Nick was on the outside and just came down a little bit on Joao, came together, and Yari Lotari, if he was going to have trouble before, is really going to have trouble now as he went headlong into the wall. A number of other cars made contact. It looks like Richard E. Simpson might have sneaked through. Dylan Murcott took a heavy blow, so he is definitely damaged as we ride on board with, looks like Yari Lotari's car.
Well, Joe, it brings to mind one of the things about oval racing. You want to be up the front, which is why guys struggle so hard to qualify well. Most of the action in oval racing is in the mid-pack, as you find drivers striving to make up a position in the early part of a race, and that's where all the action happens. Sometimes bad action, as we are witnessing right here. So unfortunately, a bad start to this race, but nothing unusual for us. We've covered many oval races, and this is unfortunately, Joe, quite typical of oval racing.
Yeah, it's hard to get it going. It's a stop-start scenario sometimes. We've got a couple drivers already out. Bill Brown is out. Unfortunately, Cobo Lopez will not repeat his crown, and he is out of this race. Corey Peters has exited. Robert Tinsey is gone. Matthew Rogers is out. Yari Lotari is in his pit stall. I don't think he's going to get... Nope, he's gone. So Yari Lotari has exited. He is out of the race. And it looks like Joao Freitas as well. It should be done. I'm pretty sure Nick Thyssen is not going to be able to get that car back out. Dylan Murcott is still out there, which is impressive. I'm not sure if we can get the camera on Dylan, because I'm pretty sure he took a heavy blow as well. Yeah, he's coming into the pits now.
Yeah, Dylan, just going into the pits as we speak. So 7 cars are already out of the race. We have 2 cars in the pit stalls, trying to get some repairs done. That leaves us, Joe, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 cars on the lead lap and still able to race. Everyone else has trouble.
Well, yeah, hopefully with fewer cars out there on the lead lap, and try because lapped cars will be shuffled to the back of the line on the restarts. So we should hopefully have a little bit less trouble with fewer cars to try and compete with, and hopefully it's the guys that are a little bit more knowledgeable on how to do these restarts on ovals. It's certainly been a school of hard knocks for some of these guys.
Well, let me give you a little fact here, which will kind of indicate how bad this race is. That in practice and qualifying, guys were doing 53 seconds or just under. The fastest lap in this race so far is a 1 minute and 3 seconds, which means they never ever got going.
Well, as the marshals are talking to them, explaining they do have a lucky dog, but you can't be involved in the accident, so I guess I'm guessing nobody's going to get that one this time around. Let's see if we can get the cars going. They should be lining up 2 by 2 this time around. I'm assuming next time they come by the line, and then we can get the green flag going. Let's go through the order real quick once again, because that was close to up to the top. Some of our top runners got taken out with that one. Elliott Huffman still up in the lead. JD Baumgartner is in second. Tomas Szabo in third. So those two are still tied for the overall win at the moment. Although I'm pretty sure that will be broken by the qualifying times. Stefan Overgaard still sitting in fourth, so he's looking like a better finish at the moment. Don't want to jinx his finish, so find me some wood to knock on there, Richard. Tommy Ryan has worked his way all the way up into fifth. So top oval guy at the moment for Tommy Ryan. Ricky Harden sitting in sixth. Wyatt Gooden cannot count this guy out, Richard. He is all the way up into 7th after qualifying 15th.
Well, there's no substitute for smartness in any kind of racing, and even in real life. Wyatt Gooden took evasive action, actually slowed his car down quite significantly on the previous restart, Joe, and managed somehow to stay out of trouble. He was involved. Let's have a look at the front of his car to see how much damage he might have. Yes, he's got some damage on the front, but doesn't look like much. So he is okay. And as you say, Joe, it is very hard to discount a driver of the quality of Wyatt Gooden.
Absolutely. And speaking of looking at the cars, if we could get a close-up of Elliot Huffman's car. He has a Nyan Cat theme there. So last time we had a Doge, now we have a different meme. So there must be something between some of the drivers that we didn't hear about that they're getting all kinds of internet jokes in here, Richard.
Yeah, and of course, some of these will pass straight over my head because some of them are specifically American, you know, and I don't get it sometimes. But Elliot Huffman, what we can say is that he is in the number 1 position. That is where you want to be on any restart. Now, he will have the inside line into turn 1, and JD Baumgartner, and this guy has been, I don't know why I'm surprised, but I did not quite expect him to be up there in both races. But apologies to JD, he has certainly opened my eyes, and he's doing a great job. He did a great job in the last race, and as did Elliot Huffman as well. And now he is sitting in the box seat here. Him and Tamar Szabo look to have the best shot at taking out this double-header, Joe.
Absolutely. It's so far been a battle between those two. If we can just get some green flag racing to see how they fare in the long run. We are on lap 9 right now, so we'll have about 20 laps for these guys to try and duke it out if they can stay green here. And fingers crossed, knocking on wood, bringing out all of our lucky charms, try and see some good hard racing for more than one corner out here.
That's right. We never lasted a single a single distance past the first corner. But now there are only really 10 cars on the track, so we should be able to get some racing in. The lights appear to be out on the pace car. Yes, they are. So we will get a restart as they come by the line next time by. Elliot Huffman, JD Baumgartner, your front row. Tamar Szabo and Stefan Overgaard on the second row. Let's see what these guys can do, Joe. Tommy Ryan, watch out for him. He may be pushing a little to try and get ahead of some of these guys in front of him. But let us see what happens as we come around. Now we will have one corner to negotiate, and then we will have the restart. Over to you, Joe.
And here we go, one more corner, and we're hearing some debate from the drivers on how they feel about these cautions. So there's definitely going to have to be some talk before next year's race to see what's going to be the preferred way to go. But right now, pace car is just about to peel off. There he goes. Elliot Huffman, still our leader, going to lead the way to this first corner for the third time this race on our second restart. Green flag is out as he takes off now across the start-finish line. Baumgartner in second. It looks like he's going to hold on there. We've got 3 wide behind him. I hope that they can make it through this first corner cleanly. Oh, a bit of a jostling back there, but it looks like everybody's going to be able to stay patient through turn 1.
Yeah, we still got 2 wide going through turn 2, and fierce battling going on there. I'm watching from right behind in Sam McLear's car, and he's a little way off, but looks like they all negotiated turn 1 and 2 successfully. We are racing, Joe.
Absolutely, and it's still Elliot Huffman up at the front. JD Baumgartner had, and Stefan Overgaard is way wide in turn 3 and is losing a number of positions. I'm not sure what kicked that off.
Yeah, that's just cold tires, Joe, and in the very, very first few laps, remember these guys have scarcely done a lap in this car. No time to heat up the tires, but he's got it all together now. Richard E. Simpson about in 8th place, so he's the back marker of this race at the moment. Let's stick with the front runners at this point in time, where we've got number 15, Ricky Harden, pressuring Wyatt Gooden there and deciding that he won't try any move into turn 2. Now he falls into line behind Wyatt Gooden as they go down. The draft kicks in. Will he go to the inside to try and take the position? Let's just watch that for a second. He stays in line. So the first 5 at the moment, Elliot Huffman, J.D. Baumgartner, Tomas Szabo, Wyatt Gooden up in 4th place, Joe. He is in with a shot here.
Yeah, we're hearing that he's actually in a championship winning position, so Gooden has made good on his bad qualifying, and already he is looking on the inside of Tomas Szabo all the way down to the wall. They're going to go too wide into turn 1.
Yes, indeed. Tomas Szabo on the outside has a disadvantage as we see Ricky Harden coming up as well. He'll probably take the position from Tomas Szabo. When you get caught out wide in oval racing, it is very hard to get the turn done successfully with any speed. You just have to lift, Joe. So he lost the position right there.
And he lost even more because Tommy Ryan was right up on that rear spoiler, and I think he took the air away from him because he had a huge bobble. But Szabo held it together. But yeah, we're seeing exactly what we saw with Stefan Overgaard. As soon as someone gets inside you, your momentum is gone. So it looks like defending your position is going to be critical in these cars. And it looks like up at the front, J.D. Baumgartner is going to try his best to claim the overall crown as he is holding on to the back of Elliot Huffman.
Yes, J.D. Baumgartner doing a great job. He's coming up on the back now of J.D. Elliot Huffman. J.D. decides wisely to just stay behind him. There's plenty of time still left for racing. They are
we've got
only
a caution
on lap 13, and another caution has come out. I didn't see what happened there.
And it looks like Stefan Overgaard is involved in that. Oh, and Tomas Szabo, after looking so good for this, they went side by side into one as we look at the replay now. And it looks like just a little bit of a tip sent them off. And who was that snuck through? That was Richard Simpson sneaking through the middle of both those guys. But I think the day is done for both the Dane and the Hungarian.
Actually, Tomas Szabo is still out on track as we speak, so he's managed to keep going, Joe.
So he might be able to get that car back in contention. I'm not sure how damaged it is. I think he took a decent hit. I'm looking at the cameras right now on him. His car doesn't look too bad, actually. So
no, it doesn't at all. In fact, it looks undamaged pretty much, as far as I can see. But we don't really know. Well, 14 laps down. We have another 3 or 4 laps to go on the pace car, and then we'll get back to racing again. Yeah, just something that strikes me as being quite comical. These guys took a oval car and raced it very successfully on a road course. They come here with their road car and on an oval course, and they're hopeless.
yeah, it's you'd think it'd be a bit of the reverse with the difficulty in controlling the really squirrely street stock. But I guess when you're going so much faster and there's no real runoff around here, there's no place to go if a mistake happens. Some interesting drivers are already thinking about the points out there and what's happening in a tiebreaker, because we've got Wyatt Gooden hanging behind J.D. Baumgartner. I believe he is definitely in a championship winning position at this moment. And drivers are asking how a tie is going to be decided. If you missed the first part of this broadcast, a tie between drivers on points is going to be decided by who gets the highest finishing position in the race. And we see Tommy Ryan, and I'm not sure who else that is, coming into the pits. 2 drivers actually heading into the pits.
Ricky Harden.
Both of our oval guys. Maybe they know something the road guys don't. We'll see if they take tires or what's going on here. But back to the tiebreaker. If there's still a tie on the highest finishing position, then it's highest qualifying position. If it's still a tie, it's combined qualifying times, and whoever has the lowest time between those 2 combined times wins. And if it's still a tie for that, then it is a freaking tie between those 2 cars, because that is incredible if they both manage to be the same in all of those. And as Ricky Harden heads out, he's going to be well ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, and I just see some messages from Sam McAleer. he is out of this race as well. So we've lost another one right there. He's just disconnected. So back to the front there, where Elliot Huffman still got a lovely, beautiful car, undamaged. JD Bumgarner, same. Wyatt Gooden has got up into third place. He was involved in the very, very first incident, but has managed to stay out of trouble enough to get into third place. And Richard E. Simpson in fourth place at this point. And then we've got Andre Trago. Tomas Szabo is still in there, still has a chance, Joe. So Tomas, Wyatt Gooden, JD Bumgarner, these guys are still in it.
So if our audience is wondering what happened to Sam McAlery, because you could see he wasn't involved in that last accident between Overgaard and Szabo, he apparently wrecked the car trying to slow it down for the caution flag. So poor Sam, not used to oval racing, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's a different type of racing altogether. When you first go into oval racing, you start to think, what on earth is this all about, right? It's very interesting. As we see Tomas Szabo coming into the pits, so what is he trying to do? Has he got damage? Is he going to change tires? Very interesting stuff here, Joe.
Yeah, well, maybe he saw Tommy Ryan and Ricky Harden heading in. Maybe he's thinking those guys might know something I don't, so I'm going to get a fresh pair of boots and see if I can get a better time. I see that Dylan Murcott almost went a lap down. He's just coming out now, it looks like. So Dylan Murcott is trying desperately to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, well, see, that is, it's quite usual in oval racing for guys to come in during a caution and either get some repairs done. That could be another thing. He might have some repairs that are minor, but he can get them done while the pace laps are being run, or get a fresh set of tires. These are all strategies that are used. In fact, he is taking tires. These strategies are used during oval racing and during cautions to try and get an advantage. And remember that during a caution, you don't lose any time, because even if you catch up to the back of the field, that can be at most half a second away from the front. So very good tactic from some of these guys.
So we're getting information from our statsman in the background. For Huffman, our current leader, to win this, Gooden would have to finish 7th or lower. JD would have to finish 8th or lower for Huffman to win. So even though he might win this race, if he can hold on to this, he's got to hope for a lot of bad luck for both Baumgartner and Gooden, because right now we've got 9 cars on the lead lap still.
Yes, and that ends with Dylan Murcott. In fact, we can run through those real quick. Elliot Huffman is leading the race, as you mentioned. JD Bumgarner in second place has to be the pick for possibly taking out this championship if he can get by Elliot Huffman and winners. Then we've got Wyatt Gooden, who, well, you can never count Wyatt Gooden out. Richard E. Simpson in fourth place. Andre Trago, Ricky Harden, Tommy Ryan, who came into the pits along with Tomas Szabo. They are currently in 7th and 8th place. And the last car on the lead lap here is, in fact, who was it? Tomas Szabo. So Tomas, having had a good finish in the road race, let's see what he can do here. He will have to try and win this race to win the championship or the series or whatever we're calling it, Joe.
And Szabo is in the pits right now, so he's trying to get just a little bit more damage fixed, it sounds like, what you were talking about before. And he'll have to rush to try and catch up to the tail of this field so he's not set down, because they are going green this next time by the line. As you can see, they are lined up 2 by 2. And just some interesting things I wanted to note about some of these guys who are still in it. Third place, Wyatt Gooden, qualified 15th. Fourth place, Richard Simpson, qualified 18th. Fifth place, Andre Trago, qualified 19th. So these guys have really taken advantage of what you were talking about earlier, just staying out of trouble and watching out what's going ahead of them to really gain some spots and be in contention again.
Well, Joe, that's another thing. I mean, a lot of us approach oval racing with our mindset of road racing. In oval racing, the start position is not critical. As I mentioned, you might only be half a second off the leader at the start of a race, as we're getting ready to go green very soon. But you will find that guys might actually choose to start right at the back of the field so they can try and keep out of trouble. And it's those smart guys that normally end up close to the front as we get ready for a restart. Back to you, Joe.
Absolutely. Pace car is getting ready to hop off the track down towards pit lane. There he goes. Elliot Huffman is still our leader. JD Baumgartner is going to start on the outside of the front row. But this time, Wyatt Gooden starts in that third position. Let's see if he's going to be aggressive and try and move up any higher as Huffman gets a good jump on them. And it looks like Gooden might actually get that second position because he's already on the inside of that second place car. Baumgartner is a couple cars made contact. We've got a car in the grass and a car almost spinning. It's Tommy Ryan. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? Oh, and Ryan is in the wall.
He's hit the barriers.
But we're
He's
still
gone.
green. We're still green. He was off,
Yes, he's
off the
off the
racing
track.
line.
Yes,
And
indeed. So, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, Gooden is pushing Baumgartner all the way down to the apron, but it looks like he's going to have the inside, but he backs out of it going into turn 3. So Gooden is going to hold on to that second position behind Huffman.
But Gooden, remember, started in third place on the restart, so he's moved up one position into second place, looking good as we said before. JD Baumgartner now in third place. Richard E. Simpson a little way back. Now we see Gooden going to the inside. He is making no bones about the fact that he wants the lead, Joe. JD Baumgartner in there as well as they left to try and get around the corner. Now they go to the inside, and of course Elliot Huffman stuck on the outside at a distinct disadvantage at the moment. We've got Richard Simpson coming up as well. So racing is in earnest right now as we see Richard Simpson now going to the inside of JD Baumgartner. He will get the inside line. No, he backs off. And a good move from him now. Wyatt Gooden, Joe, on the inside into turn 3. This is good for Wyatt because he's going to force Elliot Huffman really wide. But Elliot, brilliant stuff from Elliot there, managing from the outside to hang on to that position.
Side by side for 4 corners between Huffman and Gooden. And Gooden wants to make this a clean sweep as he dives all the way to the inside. They almost go 3 wide. They touch with JD Baumgartner and almost gets into the back of Gooden into turn 1. This has caused Simpson to catch up right on the back of these guys. It's a 4-car battle for this lead.
It is indeed. JD Baumgartner, anxious to get back the second position, wanted to try something into turn 1 there. It wasn't on. Wyatt Gooden had the position covered, so now they single file at the moment while they think of a strategy. Richard Simpson has caught up. He backs off just a little bit into turn 3. Now they go into turn 4. Wyatt Gooden, watch for Wyatt to go back to the inside. That is what he did previously, but now he's not close enough. And JD Baumgartner on the back of Wyatt Gooden, anxious to get back that second position, as we said before, Joe. Now he goes to the inside. Let's see what happens here.
He's got a nose in. Is he going to try and do it? Oh, he just manages to outbrake him into the corner. I don't think they actually need the brakes into them, but just sneaks on the inside and takes second from Wyatt Gooden. Now he's going to try and hunt down Elliot Huffman, who stretched a little bit of a gap, but not quite enough to try and get away from this draft that is holding these cars very close together.
Yeah, Joe, no brakes needed at all. But you do have to lift into these corners. Now, Wyatt Gooden must know. Wyatt Gooden is a really smart driver and we believe a smart person. So he would know that he is in position to win this championship unless JD Baumgartner can possibly win it. So JD and Wyatt are the 2 contenders that we're looking at here out of these top 4 at the moment.
And Baumgartner's got to run. But it looks like he backs off and decides he's not going to try and stick it in there. Now, I'm not sure if Baumgartner's aware. If he wants to be the champion, he has to finish 2 spots in front of Gooden. So right now, it's actually very important for Baumgartner to try and get past that blue car of Elliot Huffman up in the lead.
That's right, and Wyatt Gooden knows this. I'm pretty sure Wyatt knows this exactly, which is why he struggled so hard to get past. And now he goes to the inside of JD Baumgartner into turn 3. He lifts, and I think he had to tap the brakes there because in fact he was going in with a lot of speed. JD Baumgartner racing to try and win this championship. Great racing to see. Now they come out of turn 4. Richard Simpson behind them. Watch for Richard Simpson. He's not out of it as well. Wyatt Gooden tucks in behind JD Baumgartner. What this is doing, of course, is letting Elliot Huffman get a break on these guys, and it's not good for these two. So what JD Baumgartner is doing is losing out at the moment because he can't win from second place. He has to win the race.
Interestingly, I noticed that Simpson is being the most patient of these guys. Oh, I think he might have brushed the wall there. I couldn't quite tell.
No problem there. But it has cost him a little bit of distance from the back of Wyatt Gooden. Now, let's keep our eyes fixed on Wyatt Gooden. What is he going to do? We are on lap 23. Next time by, Joe, 7 laps to go. It's running out. Laps are running out for these guys. They have to do something now. They single file at the moment. Now that they've got some heat in the tires, you can see that the performance of the drivers has now come to the fore, and Wyatt Gooden losing out to JD Baumgartner at the moment, although JD can't win our mini championship from where he is at the moment. So Wyatt Gooden just has to sit in behind him and he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's going to be willing to do that to win it overall, or if he really wants to prove himself to just dominate this thing like we've seen him do in the past and actually get both wins. He could still do that. They've got time, although Elliot Huffman, I think he might be stretching his lead a little bit.
Yeah, it does look that way. Now, I just want to make mention of the fact that if we have a caution within the last few laps, then whoever's in the lead, that's another thing about oval racing. If a caution comes out within the last 4 laps, then the race is over, and if you happen to be in P1, then you will win it. And the other thing I want to mention real quick, Joe, is the fact that Tamar Zabo, that last pit stop, cost him. He cannot now make up enough time to get with the leaders, so he's out of it effectively in terms of the championship. As we see Ricky Harden there hitting the wall, no damage done there, so he's okay. Richard Simpson has fallen off a long way. Let's go back to the front again and see what's happening there, Joe.
Yeah, I saw a bit of a dip into the grass for Harden there, so he wasn't completely out of the woods, but I think he's collected the car. And yeah, Simpson has started to drop off now. I think his pace or his setup is just not allowing him to keep with him.
Here comes Wyatt.
He's got the draft. I don't think he's going to be close enough, though. I wonder if Wyatt is like you said, he's realized the situation. He knows he doesn't need to push it. He just needs to finish this race exactly where he is, and he can claim this thing.
Yes, indeed, but being a racer, all of us know that the red list comes down and you want to win regardless of what is happening, regardless of point standings, regardless of anything, really. You just want to win. So he has got JD Baumgartner in his sights. He's been closing with the draft slowly but surely. Up ahead there we have Elliot Huffman still leading, but in front of him there's a lap car by the looks of it. Could be a factor in the final laps of this race, Joe.
That's Dylan Murcott. They were talking on the radio trying to make sure that he knew he was coming, and yep, he's just going to let him on by. It looks like, though, they might have... Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they might have caught up a little bit because of that, though, because I saw that the exit of turn 4 for Huffman wasn't quite the desired line. He had to go a little bit low. And yes, definitely, that gap is much smaller this time by.
However, you know, we only have 3 laps left after this one. So I think he's got enough of a lead. When you're talking about 0.7 of a second, that's huge in oval racing. These guys do not have enough laps to catch him if he keeps his car clean and just keeps his speed up. And I think that Wyatt may well have settled for that 3rd position, knowing that he can't possibly win this race from where he is at the moment. He's too far back from Elliott, and I don't think he can even catch JD Baumgartner as well. So this is the way it will finish unless something unexpected happens.
Now coming on to lap 28 for these cars. So it's getting to be where they're running out of time, as you said, to try and make something happen. He did close up a bit, but it looks like that progress has been halted as he's just not making any more inroads on that Nyan Cat machine. So these Cadillac CTSVs will, in fact, it looks like, manage to last the whole length of the race, although quite a few of them did not. but it's been a great and exciting race on both sides, road and oval, so far. And at least, finding that wood knock on again, we're getting some good racing here at the end.
Yeah, nice clean laps, and I think we've been caution free now for about at least a third of the race since the 20 lap mark. So this looks like the way it's going to finish. Richard Simpson, who was contending for that third position at a few laps ago, he's just fallen way off everyone else there, Joe.
Yeah, I think that was the case of the draft was really helping him. So as soon as he got separated, it was lights out for his hopes on trying to finish on the podium with these guys. It's not over yet, though, because someone could still slam it into the wall, push it a little too hard in one of the corners, or tangle with each other. We'll have to see if Gooden is able to close up on the back of Baumgartner, or if he even wants to.
I don't think so. He's slowing down a lot more than JD into the turns there. Now they negotiate turn 4, and next time by the line it will be white flag. So last lap for Elliot Huffman. Great racing from Elliot Huffman. Clean the entire race. JD Baumgartner as well. Wide Gooden had a few mishaps, but the cream always rises to the top. He's trying now. He's actually trying. So, through turn, he hits the wall, not good, Joe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Is anybody going to push it too hard? But I think he's too far ahead to have to worry about the next car back. He's slowing down significantly, though. He knows that this race is over for him.
Yeah, look, he tried to push it a little bit there, and he touched the wall. He did a little more than touch the wall. He should be thinking about braking now. I don't see any brake lights coming on, so he can't brake. And now the final lap, and our leader, Joe, call it.
Elliot Huffman comes around turn 4 down to the yard of bricks, and Elliot Huffman is going to win the second half of the 2015 GSRC All-Star Invitational. JD Baumgartner manages to come home second, but if our calculations are correct, the damaged car of Wyatt Gooden is going to take home the overall championship and be crowned the winner of the 2015 All-Star Invitational here.
Yes, indeed. And Tomas Szabo, despite all his problems, finished in a very creditable 5th place after all of that. So certainly if we have a podium for our mini championship, he will be on it.
Very much so. We're watching a replay. It looks like he was having some more fun at the finish of this race as he comes across the line and takes out Dylan Murcott. So guys having a bit of fun there. So let's take a short break. We are going to gather our points, make sure everything is accurate. We'll be back with the unofficial results and the point scoring, letting you know who won what award. Welcome back to Indianapolis. After finishing the second half of the GSRC 2015 All-Star Invitational, Elliot Huffman comes home with the oval win. However, overall is Wyatt Gooden as the crowned champion. But the race results for this race, JD Baumgartner finished in second. Wyatt Gooden completes the podium. Richard Simpson finishes in fourth. Tomas Szabo in fifth. Then Ricky Harden, the first car is a lap down, finishes in sixth. Dylan Murcott in seventh. Andre Trago in eighth. Tommy Ryan in ninth. Stefan Oergaard in 10th. Then it's Sam McAleer in 11th. Nick Thyssen in 12th. Joao Freitas in 13th. Yari Lotari finishes in 14th, followed by Matthew Rogers in 15th. Robert Tinsey in 16th. Corey Peters comes home 17th. Then in 18th position is Koba Lopez, followed by Bill Brown, rounding out 19th in the final position. So as we mentioned, Gooden is our overall champ. However, Mr. Clean Award goes to JD Baumgartner. It was a tie between a number of drivers who had 0 incidents for both races. Impressive stuff. But JD wins on the tie for having the highest finishing position. So let's get our first interviewee in here, and that will be Wyatt Gooden, our overall champion. Wyatt, you dominated in the series that you ran in for us, which was VSRA, and not quite the same domination here, but still won it overall. Well done.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there at the end. I didn't know what was going to happen, but man, that was really tough, and I got really lucky in that oval race. I'll tell you that. With those two or three cautions in the beginning, man, that tell you, my heart skipped a beat a couple times there, just like having to drive through the grass in the infield, and that was just crazy.
Yeah, were you struggling with qualifying on the oval, because you started well down the order on that one? It looked like a mountain to climb.
You know, I had to go run out and take care of some real life stuff, and it was like I came back and it was right before qualifying was going to start, and so I actually had loaded the wrong setup for qual, and then I tried that setup that I think Richard posted on the forums. I hadn't even tried it, and I just threw it on in the race, and it was a lot better. So that was cool, and so thanks to Richard, because otherwise, without that setup, I would have been lost probably.
Well, that makes it all the more impressive. We're on screen, we're seeing the great battle you had in the opening stages with JD Baumgartner, of you guys actually coming to contact at one point. Tell us a little bit about that battle, because it was great to watch from our perspective.
Yeah. I didn't mean to make contact with him. He was obviously had really good kart control, because he, kept it off the wall too. But man, that was really intense. And when I realized that they were teammates, that's when I thought, okay, well, I got to get in between these guys. I got to really aggressively try to stay out front, because I felt like they were a little bit faster than I was, and I didn't think I'd be able to hang on to them as long as I did. So really, just any chance I could, I really try to make a move up the inside and just kind of keep them from pulling away too much. But at the same time, I didn't want to be like too aggressive. But it was a lot of fun racing with JD there. Really good racing.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the road race as well. What was your experience in that street stock? Did you enjoy that?
I had a ton of fun driving the car. It's fun when you're winning, but the car was just, it was a real pleasure to drive. I hadn't really driven it on a road course before, and I remember going into the practice the other night and being 2 seconds off the pace, and thinking, how the heck am I going to gain that? And then I just started playing around with the setup and figured out the tire pressures, which made a huge difference. But that was a lot of fun. I was just able to get into a groove there, and I know it wasn't the most exciting race from a spectator point of view, but it was very clean, a lot of fun.
Well, behind you there was plenty of good action, and we just enjoyed watching drivers try and struggle to control the cars, because there was a number of people who were driving them very sideways, and it made for good watching on our part. But congratulations on winning the overall crown, and I guess I'll be in contact with you to talk about that video.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. That was a really, really fun event. Really enjoyed that. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, and let's talk to another driver of ours, the winner of the oval round, and that was Elliot Huffman. Elliot, we weren't aware that you were a bit of an oval specialist there.
Well, growing up in the deep south, no. But I have been a NASCAR fan growing up most of my life, so oval really is my first love. It just turns out that I'm passable enough on the roadside that I can go either way.
Well, it certainly showed that, and you surprised us with your pace and also with your dominance. I believe you led most, if not all, of the laps out there, and wow, that fight with Gooden, four corners side by side, that was impressive stuff.
Yeah, what I ended up finding out a few days after I got the invitation, I went out, started working on setup, and for oval tracks, the way you go fast is you make the car as loose as you can, but not so loose you can't control it. The giant wing on this thing just meant I could keep making it looser and looser and looser, and it would never break loose, to the point where I almost drove it like Daytona.
Yeah, it's a fun car on this track. Like you said, the downforce makes it really interesting to drive. Well, unfortunately, you were not the overall winner, but I do believe. Oh no, well we don't think we have confirmation on all of the awards yet. So we'll have to get back to you on some of the other awards. But we think that JD won. Yes, JD Baumgartner won the Mr. Clean, so you missed out on that one at least. However, you did put a good show on for us and did a fantastic job out on the oval, and did a fairly good job, I have to say, on the roadside as well.
I think it's a win enough to bring this amazing paint scheme with me to a victory lane. I have to thank Jerry for finding it for me, and Alexander Manea is the one who actually made it and uploaded it to Trading Paints. This came about just because Dexter was a little slow getting me my paint, so I figured, why not?
All right. Well,
I'll call it a good luck charm.
Yeah, there you go. Keep running that. We do have one more question about that paint scheme before we let you go. Did you talk to Sam McAleer at all before the race, before these races started?
No one except Jerry knew this paint scheme was coming in, but I was going to run with the hunger theme the whole way. If I can make them have to go get a pit stop while their pit crew's eating ice cream, it'll work out all the better. Fantastic.
Well, you had another internet meme coming with the Doge car in the street stock races. Sam McAleer ran that. Again, well done on today, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
We have our Mr. Clean winner up next. That is JD Baumgartner. JD, congratulations. You won the Mr. Clean. You didn't manage to win either of the races, but you fought hard and was on the podium both times. In fact, you missed it by just 1 point for the overall crown, so I'd say you can feel pretty proud of yourself out there.
Yeah, it went well. Appreciate you guys putting the race on.
So we were talking to Elliot a little bit about his oval experiences, because I don't think we were aware of your oval experience either. It seemed like you fared quite well on both sides. Are you a two-sided hitter, I guess we should say?
Oh no, not at all. I'm more surprised that I didn't tear the wall down.
Well, you surprised us, that's for sure, with your pace out there, and you gave Wyatt Gooden a great run. Tell us a little bit about that battle, because you guys had a very fierce battle for that second position out there.
Yeah, it was different. I guess that's kind of the norm for oval racing. Like I don't do it nearly enough to really know what I'm doing. I knew that my car was a little better, and I could carry more corner speed. So eventually, he tried to get under me through the corner, and I was able to stay on the high side and pass him. I had seen Elliot do the same thing a lap or two before, so I knew I could do it. Me and Elliot were running the same setup. And I knew that once I got clear and could just draft Elliot, I could keep him behind me. But yeah, I'm sure it was fun to watch. It was a little stressful.
It was a lot of fun to watch from our point of view. I have to ask, with you being on 49 Motorsports, because Gooden mentioned that he knew you guys were teammates, was there some setup swapping going on in both cars? Because 49 fared quite well, I have to say.
Elliot gave me the setup when he gave us all the setup, and I just wasn't paying any attention to it because I'm that bad of an oval racer. And so right as we got into the room, he gave me the setup, and I put it in, and I didn't wreck.
Well, again, congratulations on managing to grab the Clean Driver Award and get podiums in both races. That's no easy feat. So you'll have to be in contact with Bill Zahn and get yourself a brand new paint scheme.
I like it. Appreciate it.
All right. And up next, we managed, luckily, to get all three of our award winners. Rick Simpson came home fourth in this race. However, Rick, you won the Hard Charger Award, so you're going to win a paint scheme from Kevin Brown. Well done. Oh, we can't quite hear you, Rick. We see your butt. There we go. So I believe, and I want to make sure that we were calling this correct. You're more of an oval guy, is that right?
Well, I race them both, road and oval. I enjoy them both. I've been focusing more on sports car racing lately.
Well, it seems like it paid off pretty well on the road side. How would you compare those sports cars to the slippery street stock out there at Okayama?
Well, I've worked on with Wyatt on setups, practicing all weekend now. I got a pretty stable car. I wasn't terribly fast, but I was able to keep it between the lines.
And we noticed in the oval race that you were showing quite a bit of patience as you were following that really fierce battle for second place between Gooden and Baumgartner. Were you just kind of waiting for an opportunity, or were you not wanting to get involved as things went down?
I was trying to stay up with those guys, figuring that maybe Wyatt and I could go to the front, but I wanted to be cautious. Those walls come up quick.
Yeah, they certainly do. We were talking a bit before the broadcast about how the car can push on the exit, and we even saw Wyatt Gooden fall afoul as he hit the wall on the last lap. So unfortunately it wasn't quite enough for you to catch him, but you did gain 17 spots combined in both races. That is a feat to be proud of, sir.
Thank you very much. I've been working hard at it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out and racing, and thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We are going to wrap up today after a very fun birthday party here for the Global Sim Racing channel, but we have to thank a few people. We need to thank our marshals, our admins for both races. They made sure that everybody behaved and was watching and getting everything running smoothly. That would be Mike Willett on the oval side and Samuel Ryman on the road side. Also thanks to our guys who made the setups for both cars, baseline setups, that kicked these guys off. That'd be Sean Ambrose and Kevin Brown. And also thanks to our artist who created the poster for this event, and that is Kaylee Peak. Thanks to the software and hardware that we use to make these broadcasts possible, iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, Behringer, and AverMedia. Thanks to the team today, Richard, Kevin, and also I believe we had some help from Sam a little bit behind the scenes there as well. And if you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and race highlights. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel. Thanks goes out to Dougie Beard, who creates all the camera sets for the Global Sim Racing Channel. And a special thank you to Eric Ekholm, whose music is not only found here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and even Spotify. If you like our music, tell Eric where you heard it on Twitter at Eric Ekholm. Additional thanks to Casey Lalonde, who also provides us with the music for our broadcast. You can find more of his music at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track here on the Global Sim Racing Channel.